Good morning, friends, and Steve here, and I'm gonna set up a healing field for now that we can work with together, and um, and then I'm gonna speak a little bit about some of the things that have been happening recently that you may find useful. So let's just start off. So in setting up the healing field, we want to state out loud, I connect my deep self. I connect my higher self. I connect to my highest self. I ground myself to the healing center of the earth. I open myself to the healing power of the One, and I let go of anything not useful to me now. And I choose to work with seventh dimensional beings, the Hathors, who work with sound and vibration in relationship to healing. Okay, so many amazing things have been happening. I'll talk about them in a minute. So I'll ask the higher self to take us through the portal of time to the event, that would be of the highest good, release and integrate at this time. And I invite all souls affected by this event to return to this event and release and integrate the energy of the event for themselves. And I ask that we all be placed in a field of protection while we do this work. Okay, that's the healing field. It's working. You may be noticing things going on in you on a physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual level, and what those words mean to you and how they affect you and what you notice. That's in your reality. But we are sharing a reality here because this reality is that I've asked the higher self to take us through the portal of time to an event that would be of the highest good for us to release and integrate at this time. So we may be doing that. Okay. So in the dream world last night, I was in a very lucid state of dreaming where so much of my stuff was coming up. And I was like, oh no, not that. 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 And it just kept coming and coming and coming. Things that I had suppressed and were right there in front of me that needed to be released. The energy of it needed to be released and integrated and digested and grounded so that I could complete those events. And I've talked about ways of doing this. So if a memory surfaces with emotional energies attached to it, then there's usually a story that we tell. Oh, this is what happened. This is what I was doing, and that type of thing. And then there's these emotions about it. I've suggested, as was suggested to me, and I learned this from my teachers, that I could separate the story and the emotions. And when I got them separated at arm's length, they detached. And I could let go of the emotions. And I could release the story. And then it becomes a story without emotions. So all these stories that were coming up for me in my lucid dream world were causing a lot of kind of panic and anxiety. Like, oh, I don't want to remember that. And so I did some regulatory breathing, which is like breathe in for the count of 4, breathe out for the count of 8, and just slow things down. And breathe, and while you breathe, you can feel what you're feeling and digest it. You're just feeling a little indigestion from undigested experiences from the meal you ate, emotional meal you ate when you were 7 or whatever. But just breathing and calming it down and feeling ourselves calming down, mainly through our exhalations. We bring air in and then we slowly let it out and let our nerve systems calm. And while we're feeling maybe just panicky energy. So, as I was doing this breathing work, I was thinking about a particular subscriber on this channel who goes by Simply Deborah and went by something else before. But the last interaction I had with her, which seems like it was maybe a week or so ago, and we oftentimes interacted every few days with real conscious interactions with words. And I thought, boy, I haven't heard anything since this last thing that was written on my YouTube channel about this really powerful experience that she had had. And I thought, I haven't heard anything since that. So I wanted to go back and just find her comment and send a word back. Haven't heard from you? Everything going okay? And all of her comments were all gone. I don't know how that works if a person can just erase themselves from your life. But it appeared like this person had erased himself from my life after kind of months and months of kind of positive interaction. And I felt like, oh, I'm going to miss this person. And maybe I missed something. That's possible. And maybe she's just regrouping and working with whatever it is that she's working with currently. And I can stay in relationship energetically with a person that disappears and keep my heart open and keep my lines of connection open, because there's many people in the world, and sometimes I've got 30 people, sometimes I got 60 people, every once in a while I get a little bit more than that working with me through these videos. But then sometimes all of a sudden 500 people are watching some portion of a particular video. But my interest is purely in you who are maybe watching this video and finding it useful. So a really dear friend out of my past that I didn't even know knew about my videos or watched my videos sent me a message saying this was really helpful to me. And this is a person I've had actual physical interactions with in the non-virtual world, but all of a sudden just shows up and says, that video you made was very helpful. That's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in, as I work with these energetics, I can give you some ideas of how I'm working with them that may be beneficial to you. Or I can lead you to some of my teachers who are beneficial to me. Either way, these are, in my perception, just mine. If this isn't your perception, that's fine. But just in my perception, these are challenging times. These are challenging me to walk the walk while I talk the talk. Like, really make these changes. And, I pulled a tarot card yesterday, I think it was, and I didn't do a card reading on it because it was, for those of you who understand tarot, it was the Tower card. And I typically rely on my perceived experts and just read from their words about these cards because I don't want to go too much into just how my perception of the card and how it's affecting me and that type of thing. But the Tower card to me is about the collapse of reality. So if you had a reality and you've held on to it maybe tightly and like, this reality is working for me, and the reality might be, I have a place to live, I have food to eat, I'm getting along okay with the few people I allow around me, and my world is working okay for me. That's all that matters. I'm not here to try to fix everybody else. That's one reality. And then we can have that reality and we can be holding it so tight, but all of a sudden we're having all sorts of problems showing up. Like, why are these problems happening? I've got my world just right for me, and I've got all these problems. And to me, the Tower card is the collapse of reality that wasn't working, even though you might have continually said, it's working, it's working, it's working for me. And that could be the problem in the, oops, froze. The problem in the world that we're experiencing is we're experiencing a world that has all these individuals holding on to these realities that if it's working for me, it's working. Whereas if it's only working for you, it may not be working. And these problems and tensions and fears and sadnesses and angers that you're feeling may be that you're holding on to a reality that it's time to let go of. I know it is for me. And it's happening daily. Like, I get to a reality like, oh, I like this reality, I have it for like part of a day, and then up the stuff comes again. And as one of my teachers, and I have many teachers, but one of my teachers, Thomas Hubel, he talks about this time being a time of detoxing, like really clearing out, or just watching the stuff clear out. You don't even have to be thinking clearing it out, but stuff is clearing out. Some stuff is coming up. Undigested materials, unresolved events that just can be resolved when we allow ourselves to be present. So he made a video about um, meeting fear with presence. And so I watched the video when he made it. It's on YouTube. Might be called something different, but it's on YouTube. Just Thomas Hubel, Hubl, on YouTube, June 8th. So it's 3 days ago. And it might be called Meeting Fear with Presence. It might have a different title on, let me see, I can even look because I may have it here on YouTube. Spiritual Grounding in Uncertain Times. So that seems to be Spiritual Grounding in Uncertain Times. I think it was also called, Meeting Fear with Presence. If you are a member of the Mystic Cafe, which is his group that you can participate in talks that he does and interaction with people on the group that I've been a part of for the last couple months. So I'm gonna read these words from the video so you can watch the video. And these words are about 35 minutes into it, where one of his long-term students, Anna Molitor, she talked about some highlights after he spoke for the 35 minutes. And she said she was repeating his words to him, and she was talking about how he had said something like, or she might have had exactly what he said. We often say, fears are holding me back. But the reverse is true. I am holding my fears back. My childhood, my people, my ancestries. I'm holding those fears back from my awareness. I added that part from my awareness. And then again, animalator, I need a way to slow down. To let the past begin to show up so I can digest it. What can turn back into relationship can heal. Emotions can seem like ours, but it can become this mutual space. Turning our need to get away from fear back into relationship with fear. And we can learn together. Now there was more words, but those are the ones I wrote down that were just like, the world is changing. There's no question about it. And the world may have been working for you. You may have had a job. You may have had, been able to buy an expensive house or be able to buy, the organic foods and been able to see alternative healthcare practitioners to you may have been able to belong to a gym and work out and stay physically healthy, and you may have had a good group of people that you did things with on weekends and watched sporting events or consumed substances or whatever, and you felt like, yeah, my life is working. And then the Tower card, and all of a sudden that structure just began to crumble. And for many people, this is the experience they're having. That reality that they had has crumbled. And maybe it's part of this time of detoxification where, these things are real for so many people, and each of us individually is working with our own aspect of that falling apart. And it is a time to practice breathing, slowing ourselves down. My dad had a thing he said oftentimes in my childhood: the hurrier I go, the behinder I get. In other words, when we're not present, when we're hurrying through things, accidents happen. We spill things, we break dishes, we do whatever, you know, things happen. But when we're present, we're more aware of what's going on in our presence. Those are the words I wanted to offer up in this morning where I feel like incredible intensity is present and the possibility of integrating the past and becoming more and more in the present so that we can be in our creative selves and navigate these changes that appear to be happening with a increasingly calm nerve system. Okay, just the last little bit. We're going to finish up the healing field. If you don't feel finished, then pause it and then come back to this. But we're going to finish the healing field right now. So I ask the higher self to assist all the souls that return to the event to combine with that part of their soul that had remained at the event and bring that combined soul back into their body in present time with all of its wisdom, power, clarity, compassion, curiosity, and kindness. And with joy and love, I ask all the souls to ground themselves into the healing center of the earth and open up the portal for the delivery of the new energies into the earth at this time. And I ask that those new energies be brought in now. And activated. And I let the universe and beyond know that this has been done and that is good. Okay, that's the healing field and class for the day. And may it serve you right and may it serve you well. Now can change.